Today we're going to review how to best utilize myacademicapproach.com to view and analyze student data from the first round of PSAT and SAT testing your students completed with Academic Approach. To log into your account, go to myacademicapproach.com and type in your username and password. Your username is your full school email address, and your password is password1 with a capital P. If you have logged in before, use the unique password you set for yourself. If you can't recall the password that you set for your account, you can select this Forgot Password option here. If you've tried to log in and it doesn't seem like you have an Academic Approach account, please reach out to your school administrators and have them request an account created for you through Academic Approach. Once you're logged in, you'll be taken to your dashboard. We're going to spend the majority of our time together today reviewing student data in the Reports tab of your account. So when you click this Reports option, you're taken to the Reports page, where you'll see there are 11 unique reports available to you. The reports at the top of the page have more big picture data reporting for you to look at. The middle of the page is focused on skills-based reporting. And at the bottom of the page, we have student-facing reports for you to view. Today, we're going to look at 4 out of the 11 reports, but feel free to play around with other reports. And if at any point when you're looking at student data, you have questions about how to access certain reports, you can reach out to the support contact team with this link here. The bottom of your page, there's also a support resources link that has several helpful videos and user guides for you to look at. This reporting features option will take you to the page with videos as well as user guides that will walk you through how to generate some of our reports. But again, if you can't find your answer in the support resources page, please contact our support team. We'd be happy to help you. So the first report I want to demonstrate for you is the class averages and student scores report. So I'm going to select that option here. You'll see for all of our reports, there's this Learn More option that you can select to view a summary of what that report specifically does. So once I'm in the class average and student scores report, I'll see a few pieces of data that should populate automatically. You'll see the name of the school your account is tied to. The school year 2019-20 is what we're looking at, and a program. Your program will say all active students, then the name of your school. I'm in a demo account, that's why it says something specific and a little bit different. Again, if you're noticing that this school is not correct, you work at a different school, it needs to be updated, please submit a support ticket here and we can get your account updated for you. So after we've confirmed all of this information is correct, we'll see the test type is SAT, and then we're going to select the test drop-down menu. The number of tests that appear will vary depending on the number of grades that tested with Academic Approach so far. You'll see with all of the test options, there are different test forms for each grade. So if a test says PSAT 8-9, and then TAO2, for example, is one of our test forms, that means that that's the test 8th or 9th graders took with us. You'll also see a month that will tell you the time frame that they took that test. That'll be especially helpful when you have 2 sets of data points from the BOY testing and the MOY testing. PSAT 8-9 is for your 8th and 9th graders. PSAT 10 will be the test form the 10th graders took. And then the SAT, you'll see either AAH or AAC. That is the test 11th and 12th graders took with us this year. So you can go ahead and select the test event. I'm going to look at SAT AAH. This group option allows you to select specific class periods if you'd like to see data by a specific cohort of students. If you simply want to view data for all of the 11th graders, or whichever test form you selected, you can skip the group option and click Update. If you would like to view data by a specific class period, just find that class and then select that box next to the class name. If your groups look incorrect or it seems like some students are missing or you don't have groups and you should, please reach out to us. Again, with this link, we'd be happy to update those for you. Once I have my group selected, I'm going to click Update. And I'm going to scroll down a little bit. So I'll see all the information is here along with the class period I selected. And this first row tells me the overall class average, composite score, score for evidence-based reading and writing, and then for the math section. So again, this is the average for all students in this period 1 English class. And then I can scroll down and I can see how each student specifically did in each one of these sections. So I'll see the student name, their composite score, their reading and writing score, and then their math score. You can sort the scores by selecting these toggles. You can see the scores from low to high, or from high to low if you select it again. And you can sort it by a specific subject as well. So this kind of tells you, big picture, how did my students do on the most recent practice test? And then you can also give you a summary of the average for the cohort of students that you're looking at. This report is downloadable as a CSV. If you select this option in the top right corner of your page, you'll see that just in a few seconds, the report will download as a CSV. And then you can also print the report as a PDF if you'd like. So that's all I wanted to show you for the class average and student scores report. So I'm going to head back to the reports page. I'm now going to show you another report from this overall report section, the question and answer report. So this report is especially helpful when you're doing item analysis. So we recommend teachers have the physical copy of the test form students took with them as they're looking through data from this report, because it will tell you all of the correct answers for each one of the questions that students were answering. And it'll also tell you what standards are tagged to each one of those questions. So it's a really helpful report when you're doing your item analysis to think about what students were seeing, what distractors they may have had as they were answering specific questions. So again, I'm going to make sure all this information is populated at the top of the page. Make sure that's still the test I want to look at. Then I'm going to select a specific subject. I'm going to look at the reading subject. You can always go back and look at a different subject later if you want to look at writing and language or math. And then you can select a class period here, or you can leave it blank if you just want to see how the whole grade did. Now there are these standard systems that are available for you to select. I'm going to select the standard SAT domains and dimensions. We recommend that you look at that as well because that corresponds with the curriculum that you are teaching in your classroom this school year as well. You can select other standard systems if you'd like. So if you'd like to select Common Core, you can add that in addition to a third standard. Generally, these two are most common with the schools that we work with. So I'm going to go ahead and click Update. And I'm going to scroll down to actually view the report. So I'll see that this report tells me several things. It tells me the question number. So that if you have the test form in front of you, you can actually go to that question to see what students were looking at as they were answering this question. And then this column will tell you the correct answer. Overall class accuracy, so percentage of students that got that question correct. And then it will also tell you what percentage of students chose each one of the answer choices. So you can see if there were distractors or if there was a reason all students were choosing one answer even though it wasn't the correct one. You can actually look at that answer choice and see what went wrong and kind of reteach from there. And then this column, the SAT domains and dimensions, will tell you what SAT standard that question is specifically tagged to. So you can see what skill you need to review with your students to increase class accuracy the next time they see a question that's assessing them on a similar skill. And then this column is for the Common Core standards as well. So just like with the class averages report, you can sort them by the scores by low to high, high to low. And you're also able to download this report as a CSV or print a PDF as well. So now I'm going to go back to the reports page, and I'm going to look at a more skills-based report now. I'm going to skip over a few of these reports, but encourage you to play around with them yourself and see what stands out to you and what report you find most helpful to inform your instruction and data analysis. And again, if you ever have questions about what you're seeing, please reach out to us using this link, the support contact link. So the next report I want to look at is the standard analysis report. This will tell me the overall class accuracy by standard. And so I'm just going to double check again, this information is correct. This is the test form that I want to continue looking at and analyzing. Just like with the question and answer report, you select a specific subject. So I'll do math this time. And then the standard system is that I'm going to select is SAT domains and dimensions. And again, we encourage you to use that because that corresponds with the curriculum you are using in your classroom, or most closely corresponds with the curriculum. Group, again, is a class period. So I could see how specifically my second period math class did on these standards. And I'm going to go ahead and click Update. So now I'm going to scroll down and I see that this report is breaking down overall class accuracy by specific standard. Again, just for the math section. So the column on the left tells me the standard. So I'm looking at this standard, for example, HOA LE1. It explains what the standard is. Again, these are SAT domains and dimensions. So that's what this code means here. That's how it's tagged in our system. And then it tells you what it actually is. So this is create and use linear equations in one variable to solve problems in a variety of contexts. It tells me how many questions are tagged to this standard on the test that my students took. And then overall class accuracy. So I see 100% of my students got that question right. you can click on the standard to see individual student performance. So this column will tell you the student name, and then this will tell me class accuracy. And I can sort that low to high, high to low, to see what students may need further review of that specific standard versus which students can get some more challenging material. So again, it breaks down each one of those standards, and you can see some are more frequent than others by looking at this column that tells you the number of questions for that standard. And you can click on each one of the standards and sort them. Sort student performance. This report is also downloadable, and that will tell you individual student performance as well if you download this report as a CSV. You can also play around with this option if you want to see a graph on the overall SAT domains and dimensions with class accuracy as well, highlighted here. So I'm going to go back to the reports page, and I have one last report to review with you. Again, there are several more skills-based reports. We have videos on using the Skills Insight report on our support resources page. I encourage you to look at. And then if you have more questions about that, please reach out to us and we'd be happy to respond. The last report I want to show you is a student-facing report, and that's the student scores report. The student answers report is also available for you to look at. This one will break down student performance by each question, gives a more in-depth analysis of how students did on a full-length test. So the report's a lot longer, but it could be really helpful to use in a parent-teacher conference or in a one-on-one setting. This student scores report will tell you overall student scores in more student-friendly language so that you can actually hand it back to students and they can review it themselves. So I can keep the same group, or I can just select this test if I want to see all of my juniors. And I'm going to go ahead and click Update. Depending on how many students are in either the group or in the grade that took this test, this report can take several minutes to generate. And I'll show you how to know when that report is done in a second. Before I do that, I want to highlight a few things about this report, some things to look for. So this is an example of what the report will look like when you print it out and give it to students. So it has the student name. You can also select specific students. You'll see on this page, you only see student scores for one student at a time. There is the option to print for an entire class, and I'll show you how to do that next. But quickly, we'll see that on this printout, students will see their overall composite score, their writing score, and then their math score. And because this is the SAT, each section is out of 800 points. And then the raw score breakdown as well. And then below the overall scores, you'll see that there's additional information on how students did on each section of the test that they took. So there's accuracy by passage content, text type, and question type. So this is focused on curriculum areas and showing students how they did on specific types of questions. And then it breaks down performance for the writing and language section, as well as the math here. Overall class accuracy for each one of these sections in the math portion of the test. So that's what it will look like when you give it to students. These will print as PDFs. So if you'd like to print them and hand them back to students, you select this print option. If you want to just print one student score report, you just select this option, print selected students. If you'd like to select the second option and then click print. It will take a few minutes to generate, depending on how many students are in the class. When the report is ready, you'll get a notification in the top right corner of your screen. You'll see this 0 turn into a 1 or a higher number if you've selected multiple reports. And then you can click on the notification option and you'll see the report generate here. The helpful thing about this feature is you can click away, you can go to another page, and the report is still generating. So when it's ready, it will show up back here. If you've been waiting a really long time and it feels like the report may not be generating, you can always reach out to our team with this link here, and we can check on the status of the report for you. So those are all the reports that I wanted to review with you today. A few things I just wanted to highlight again. The support resources link here has some videos that review features of the website that we may not have reviewed in our time together today, but are hopefully really helpful and useful to you. Some videos and user guides that should be really helpful resources to you. And then again, the support contact link. We really love hearing from the teachers that we work with. So if you ever have a question about navigating the website or unsure about where to begin, please reach out to us with this link, and then we will respond to your question. So that's it for the webinar for today. We will have another webinar available to all DPS teachers once the second round of testing has begun. And in that webinar, we will review how to view multiple test events and compare student data in that way so you can see student growth. Again, big picture, and then also looking at some of those standards-based reports so you can see how students are progressing on specific SAT domains and dimensions, and then use that data to inform your instruction. So that's all I have for today. Thank you for your time. And again, if you have any additional questions, please reach out to our support team.